Good morning, River House. I'm going to close out this morning this deconstruction theme that we've been on the last couple weeks. And next week, we're going to actually talk about some new construction and actually how to build a rhythm of life and some new patterns in relationship to Jesus and to our families, in light of a quarantine time of life. But today, I'm just going to kind of put the exclamation point and close with this series on partnering with God for the deconstruction process. And I'm going to read a passage of scripture that we're all pretty familiar with. It's the end of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 7. And Jesus says, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house. And yet it didn't fall because it was founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the wind blew and slammed against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall." There's a lot to unpack in this short passage. All right, so Jesus is talking about our actions being a house and our assumptions or beliefs as the foundation of the house. And then he's talking about different climates that reveal the integrity of the house and foundation. And what he's revealing through this passage is that times of prosperity, right, when it's 75 and sunny and everything's going great, you can actually have false assumptions or beliefs, poor or unrighteous actions, and that house will stand. You can actually function quite well in times of prosperity. Times of prosperity don't challenge the integrity of your life. They don't challenge the integrity of the house. But times of uncertainty or storms, like what we're living in right now, are actually exposing, and they challenge not just our actions and our behaviors, but our assumptions and our beliefs. Right? So these are days of exposing, and God is actually trying to expose and bring us into some introspection to test the quality of our lives, right? Jesus is the rock. He tells us this, Matthew 7, what we just read. All throughout the Psalms, we see this language of, my God, my rock, right? And rock, what is a rock? It's solid, stable, an anchor. It doesn't move, right? Jesus is showing us, I want you to live your life in such a way that whatever life throws at you, you are founded. He wants us to build our lives. He wants our beliefs, our assumptions, our behaviors, everything we build with our life to be solid so that it can be passed from generation to generation to generation. That what the generation that comes after us inherit is something stable, a lasting legacy. Right? But the reality in these days is, if we're honest with ourselves and if we see what's happening, there's a lot of shaking going on. Right? And this shaking reveals something. Right? The shaking, if parts of our life shake when times get uncertain and when the storm and the wind and the waves start blowing, it reveals that there are areas of our lives where we still don't trust Jesus. There are areas of our life where fear still has influence in us, right? There are areas of our life that we are building on sand. We're building them on false assumptions, right? And like I said, the truth is, in times of prosperity, false assumptions don't get challenged. But in times of uncertainty, it's not so comfortable, right? We make assumptions when things are going good, right? We make assumptions about the way we spend money, the way we invest our time, the way we connect with our loved ones, the way we consume media or our phone or technology, right? We make assumptions and we assume that what we're doing is the right way because everything seems to be going good, right? But in times of uncertainty, we find out if those assumptions really are true or not, right? In times of prosperity, we can be into debt up to our eyeballs, but everything's going good because I can pay my debt each month. I can finance the bills, right? In times of prosperity, I can have patterns of disconnection with my spouse or my friends or my kids or my family. And it's okay because everything's going good. We're not having to feel any pain, right? In times of prosperity, I can have a really mediocre prayer life and I'm living in peace because everything's good, right? But it's in times of uncertainty, there can be an unraveling, right? As the house starts shaking, that sand starts shifting and things don't feel quite so stable as they did before. Right? I want to invite you this morning to be really honest with yourself and really honest with God. And if there's places within you that have been shaking in these days, I don't want to shame you. I don't want you to beat yourself up. I just want you to be honest with the places where there may be fear or anxiety or stress or whatever it is that you're experiencing of this shaking, and actually come and expose yourself before God and have a conversation. He does not despise our weakness. You know, the man whose son was an epileptic and the disciples tried to heal him, but they couldn't. And he came to Jesus and said, if you're able, could you heal my son? And Jesus says, if I'm able, I can do all things to those who believe. And the man says, I believe, but help my unbelief, right? This morning, if you're hearing this and you say, wow, I am recognizing there are places where I don't yet trust Jesus. Just come before him like that man and say, Jesus, I trust you, but help these areas where I don't trust you. You know, personally for me, these last months, there's been a lot of uncertainty, even before all the coronavirus stuff. I'm about to get married. I have no idea what that's like. It's pulled up like this world of beliefs that I didn't even know were inside me, where I didn't trust Jesus. Fears, inadequacies, insecurities. It was like, I don't even know how to relate with you in this way as I'm looking at the uncertainty of what I'm walking into, right? It's okay to humble yourself before God. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay, no matter how long you've walked with Jesus or if you're a pastor, to say, wow, I don't yet trust you here, right? That's the first step to the healing. That's the first step to building trust. You expose your weakness. Say, God, have mercy on my weakness. This places where I don't trust you. And ask him in this place this morning, what is it that you want to be to me today? How I have conversation. Let him reveal himself. He wants to be something to you right now, and he wants to build trust with your heart. I want to bless you this morning as you converse with Jesus, as you dialogue with him, as you be honest before him, and as you hear him speaking back to you. He is doing a beautiful work in these days. Be alive to it. Be aware of it. Be looking for his grace, conversing, searching him out. And I believe that God, he's removing. Like may all the things built on sand fall. May all the false assumptions be exposed for what they are. And may God found your life on the rock so that what you build will last, come hell or high water. God bless you, and we'll see you again next week as we continue our devotional series and seek to build and construct a rhythm of life founded on the rock of Jesus.